What's cooking, YouTube? I'm Casserole J, and today I wanted to quickly make a multi-part video. I was going to make this video two different parts, but they're just small enough that I figured that we could actually mix them into one. We're going to be talking about the latest bug fix patch, which just came out a couple days ago, and the latest rift, the Sunflesh Rift, as some of you may know, also just came out. And I kind of wanted to give my 2 cents on both of these things. So before you get into the video, be sure to like, subscribe, because we're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers soon. And let's get into it. Now, this is the 10.0.3 bug fix patch, and this has been released, I think, before, sort of like as a temporary patch before the Summer Screams event, which, for those who don't know, the Summer Screams event is going to be featuring 3 different events. It's going to be Chaos Shuffle, Lights Out, and 2v8 every single week. So that's going to be in the patch notes as well. So let's talk about this. And you guys know how my opinion has been on the game recently. The lopsided balance favoring the survivors heavily has not just been very well hidden. And I was kind of hoping in one of these mid-chapter patches they were going to do some pretty big balance changes, and they did do a few changes, but you know, not in the way I wanted. So number 1, the slasher jump scare anti-camp penalty no longer applies across multiple floors, which is a positive thing. First of all, that's actually a pretty big buff for Jason, because as some of you know, on maps like the game, if you teleport below a hook, even when you're not trying to camp the hook and you're not in a position where you're near the hook technically, you would still have to sit there for like 10 seconds and wait for your jump scare to play. So you might be like, Casserole J, why are you getting mad over this? Let's get into it. And to their and to be the devil's advocate, they did nerf cross-examination, which is good, because honestly, it didn't really get used a whole lot, but I think if everyone started using this perk, a lot more people would have seen how problematic it is when paired with certain haste perks. So yeah, they did nerf it. I mean, honestly, it didn't feel too bad, because like no one was using it, because everyone's using the same 30 perks anyways. So that's not a big deal. Yeah, let's get into the killer add-on updates. It says updates. The slasher, which is Jason. Sonorock. After a jump scare, inflict all survivors within Killer Instinct's detection range with exhausted for 3 seconds. I want you to read this little text here, and I want you to read this little text here and tell me, does that seem like a fair change at all when we have Vigil, which gives you a 66% increase to removing all effects, meaning that with this nerf, this insane nerf, mind you, that I don't even think the add-on needed, if you walk for like a 1.6 seconds, you're not exhausted anymore. Literally, all you have to do is walk for 1.6 seconds. Boom, you get your sprint burst back. Jason doesn't even have time to kill you at that point, because all you gotta do is walk for a second, which is about the amount of time it takes for him to actually play out the jump scare animation, and then you get inflicted. I mean, this is just... I don't really care if add-ons are changed around too much, because, you know, as long as, like, the core killer power, I'm a player that doesn't like to play with add-ons as much. I have recently over the past year, because I can't win unless I'm running the best of the best. But this is just, like, one of the most unnecessary things, especially after Jason has just received slight nerf after slight nerf after slight nerf since release for absolutely no reason. Yeah, a few of his nerfs were like, okay, I can kind of see this. This was just completely uncalled for. I don't know why. I would have at least nerfed this to like 6 or 7, no joke made, 6 or 7 seconds. I don't know what the team was smoking with the 3 seconds, but okay. Spikes that come within 1 meter of a survivor reveal their aura for 5 seconds was 6. For no reason, yet again, it's a super tiny nerf. It's literally 1 second, but the add-on wasn't that good anyways, because you have to reload. So I personally would have buffed this to like 8 seconds. I think there was absolutely no reason to just give it a micro nerf. There goes Behaviour again, just nerfing absolutely, like, it's not even funny anymore. They just nerf whatever they can at this point. On the killer side, not on the survivor side. On the survivor side, everything stays fine, except for cross-examination. Mirror shards, this one I never really used. Impaled survivors become broken for 40 seconds after extracting the spike was 30 seconds. So, once again, a small little buff of 10 seconds. I mean, honestly, being broken in this game doesn't really matter, just because... And this might be a hot take, but just with the amount of perks there are that you get, you know, after you've been hooked typically, or even resilience, you know, like being injured isn't that bad. And with med kits and healing speeds and resurgence and stuff, just being broken almost doesn't really feel like a huge... I mean, it's okay, you know, I'm not complaining. Like, don't nerf it back to 30 seconds, right? So, but it's just kind of weird. Toxic waste. After jump scare, survivors within 10 meters of a hook or scrap pile gain oblivious for 13 seconds was 8 meters. So once again, a super tiny micro buff. I mean, I use toxic waste a lot and just never got almost any value because everyone's just running sprint burst vigil anyways, and it doesn't. And also oblivious, they couldn't even make it undetectable because oblivious doesn't really matter because they can still see your red stain, and most, you know, players with over 1,000 hours aren't getting tricked by undetectable or oblivious that much, but undetectable more so than oblivious. So I mean, it's fine that it got buffed by an eensy bit, but this add-on doesn't really do anything. I don't think it's deserving of its rarity. Sleeping Bag. After grabbing a hook spike while an omnipresent evil, see the location of survivors within 10 meters of hooks was 8. Once again, I tried this quite a bit. I never really got crazy value from it, but it's, you know, it's fine. I don't mind that it got another micro buff, right? Like, I think his add-ons, some of the weaker ones, should get buffed, and I do like that Behaviour is doing these buffs, but they're so tiny, it's like it doesn't really change it. It's like buffs for the sake of saying they buffed it instead of actually making it worth running. Does that make sense? Party Noisemaker. Breaking a pallet or breakable wall with the jump scare reveals the auras of survivors further than 28 meters for 6 seconds was 32. Once again, very small nerf. I don't think I've ever used this add-on. But, you know, I mean, it seems like semi-useful, so why they'd nerf it more, I don't really, like, I don't really know. I could sit here and talk about this for 10 minutes, but I'm not going to. We're just going to keep going. Summer Screams event. The Summer Screams event will be live from July 28th. Featuring Chaos Shuffle, Lights Out, and 2v8. Each event will be active for 1 week at a time, starting with Chaos Shuffle. Check out the available quests, you know, so once you get that massive 1 billion community games played, you can get 10,000 blood points and 1 rift shard. You know, since they love rewarding us with quests. So it is going to be 1 week, which personally I think Chaos Shuffle is the most fun out of all of these. I didn't really like Lights Out. I didn't really like 2v8 that much. Game mode updates. Lights Out. Survivors holding the lantern will now see the auras of pallets, vaults, and breakable walls within 32. I assume 32 meters is what they meant to write. So I like how it's a game mode called Lights Out, and you're not really supposed to be able to see much, and now you just have windows. I mean, I guess it's okay. I think the aim for this is mostly for new players, not to just run into dead zones, but just like, I mean, it's a limited time event, right, for 1 week, so I'm not gonna flay into them, but it is supposed to be Lights Out. Why are we just adding windows? Note that the killer doesn't get anything as well, just to let you know. But if I remember the last time I played, I had a horrible time because I'd kill a survivor early and the other 3 would just hide around the map and I'd have to spend 20 minutes in a match finding everyone. So I'm biased because I already hate Lights Out. I haven't made a video on it. I just don't like Lights Out. Gate interaction points will now remain lit once all objectives have been completed. I think that's so that the killer can see them, so maybe that's, you know, something. Deep wound anti-cam bars are now visible. Added support for fog vial. I don't think you need the fog vial in this mode. Fix an issue where the lighting is inconsistent. So they did do a little fix for the Xbox Series X. And for Chaos Shuffle, all perks and add-ons now available to be assigned. This is what I wanted. A lot of people noticed you'd get like the same like 10 perks in a lot of matches. You know, you get the same perk in a couple matches. I think they should just take the top 20 perks used on both sides and just remove them from the match. So, and then just like everything else. Yeah, I think that'd be fun. For the bug fixes for 2v8, they did some fixes. They did some audio fixes. Not really anything too crazy. They did do a small, I think that's a buff for Skull Merchant. Once again, just a bug that they fixed. They fixed this bug on Dark Lord, which I will admit this bug was kind of crazy for those who actually got hit by that. Yeah, they fixed, I mean, just like really no like real changes. That's kind of my problem here, right? Barely anyone even rated this helpful. It's such a, and they said going forward to give themselves more time to make high quality changes, that they're going to release these balance changes. I don't think this patch note was, you know, a mid-chapter patch, but they said they will be releasing like big change patches on mid-chapter patches, I believe is what they said. Maybe if I'm wrong, let me know, but you know, so for in this case, this isn't, I don't think this is a mid-chapter patch, right? It's a 10.0.3. And I'm glad that they are going out of their way to fix. I mean, there's a decent amount of bugs considering how, you know, just disgusting this game's code is. So they to give them credit, they did fix, it seems like, a few bugs. But I mean, we need to calm down with just the random killer nerfs, right? Because, yeah, he got a few of his add-ons buffed. They're useless add-ons that no one's running anyways. Instead of actually buffing them to be substantial to, like, something that you'd want to run, they just kind of increased the, like, range of everything by 2 or 3 meters, and they called it a day. Like, that's not going to make anyone use those add-ons go, whoa, you know what? This add-on's strong now, because it's not. It does virtually very little. And I mean, after the nerf to Badge, I mean, Badge, Sonorock, and Coffee are, like, my top 3, so they just got gutted. What's next? Are they going to nerf Coffee to, you get 2% haste after you hit someone with a hook for 3 seconds? The survivor gets 40% pushback and gets to go through walls onto the other side of the map. Like, I don't know, man. A really disappointing patch. And with the next week coming up, where 2 out of 3 game modes are personally not my favorite, and 2v8 is just not really fun to play in Killer unless you're running into baby survivors, which most of the time I'm not in my 2v8 matches. Once in a while I will, and then that's always fun. Unless they're going to release another update in between the Summer Scream event where they kind of change around the modes. I don't even know how constantly I'll be playing these, or consistently. I'll probably be playing Chaos Shuffle a lot, maybe not 2v8 at all, and maybe some Lights Out, because it has been a while since I played it. I played it the last time it came out. But yeah, I'm just disappointed with these changes. You know, this is the best thing that came out of this whole patch note, and, you know, I'm glad they did this. This also is pretty cool. I'm glad that they actually took the time to actually nerf this perk, because this perk is problematic if used correctly. Just a whole lot of nothing burger, to be honest, besides the bug fixes, you know, which, as I said before, I'm not hating on them for having these bug fixes. I'm glad they've bothered to do a lot of these bug fixes, but I just mean from here on up, it's really a whole lot of anything. That's kind of the worst part. First cosmetic, really cool, right? I personally do enjoy Tori, and I have an outfit I already run with her, but I do really like the pants. I think this, you know, it's definitely a sign of confidence, but yeah, I kind of like it. Apparently for the Deathslinger, I guess this is just a recolor, copy and paste of a cosmetic he already has, and it does look almost exactly like the Masquerade mask, so that's a little disappointing. If you look at this Adam outfit, apparently the pants and the hat are once again just a complete copy and paste of a pre-existing cosmetic. I think the shirt is the only thing that got, like, changes, which I can try and verify all these things at the end. You know, I like it, it's okay. I don't really play Adam a whole lot. Michaela, once again, I like the coloring. I always love a little black and gold, you know, you can't go wrong with that. But apparently the headpiece is, once again, just an exact copy and recolor of something we already have. You're already starting to see a theme here, right? We've already listed 3 cosmetics as things that are just complete recolors. Don't even get me started on the Trickster outfit. They just copy and pasted a pre-existing outfit. The only thing they changed was his hair and his gloves, as far as I can tell. You know, it looks great, right? The coloring is great. Like I said, I love that coloring, but I have Mina, so I almost never really play Trickster anymore. And it's just a complete copy and paste. For this cosmetic, I mean, looks great. I don't think this one is a copy and paste. I don't think there's a hairstyle like this that exists, so pretty cool. Let's see here. Once again, Aurella looking absolutely swag. You can't really go wrong with this coloring, as per usual. Looks really cool. And I think this is just completely original, which is good to see. And this was the community night outfit, which, you know, it looks pretty awesome. I can't lie. And I'm excited to get to this one in the Rift Pass. But it looks very different from the original outfit, and you can do that just by going and looking at the original outfit, which obviously, just for stylization purposes, Behaviour can't have it be exactly the same. But I'm told this looks so wildly different that it's like Plague. I'm pretty sure this one is completely original, and I will say I really do like the scepter, the sensor on this one, and the face piece is really awesome. I'm not really sure if I'm messing with all that, but yeah, this one is original, as far as I can tell. And then this one is also, I believe, completely original, and this one looks awesome, right? For the most part. See how we're on page 9, and this one I also believe is completely original, I think. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure for the next 3 pages, It is just it's a whole lot of recolors, and right, I do love, I don't mind a couple pages of recolors, to be honest with you, especially in a thing like this where it's supposed to be glamorous and all of that. But it's just it's more just for me the repeating theme of constant recolors that's making it so hard for me to really enjoy these passes. And I don't really mind recolors too much, but the amount of them has been growing over the past couple years. And not only that, but them just taking cosmetics that already exist, adding a few slight changes, and then slapping them into a pass. I'm pretty sure they did that with Darkest Dungeon as well. I'm pretty sure they had some cosmetics for that were just taken from years ago, and they just barely changed it, threw it back in there. And once again, just 10,000 blood points, why couldn't we go 50k? Right? I'm pretty sure the ORXL amount is still 1,000, so at the very least you're getting that back. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just, I do like this style, this sort of like old ancient Egyptian, almost, tomb. I like the name, but the amount of recolors and just copy and paste cosmetics is honestly a little embarrassing. I've been saying this for years now. I think Behaviour should take a step back from releasing all these cosmetics, because I know cosmetics make them a bunch of money, but I don't really see a whole lot of people running these cosmetics anyways. I think they need to take a step back and focus on game balance, all right? Because I'm getting sick of just the same 10 recolors. It really is. It feels like it's getting a little ridiculous at this point. I mean, ooh, Marvel Rivals. Yeah, I'm currently downloading Marvel Rivals because I want to play a live service game where they actually focus a little bit on the balance and the care of the players. I stopped playing it for a long time because it was just getting to be a gooner game, but honestly, DBD's balance and everything has just been so horrendously lopsided that I just haven't been having fun on either side, really, even if I win, even if I lose, because there's always something, some big glaring issue that's just makes me frustrated, and I am probably going to I'm just going to stop playing until the events come out, so not too long. It is obviously good to take breaks from live service games, but yeah, just kind of a short video. And all of this just feels like a little extra bad with all the other stuff that's been happening with the 10th anniversary event, with the just all the changes that they've talked about, and how they haven't delivered with most of what they've said. But that's kind of just a constant for Dead by Daylight at this point. Like it's better just to get used to it early. It's still frustrating though. It wouldn't be quite as bad if the game was in a much better state. I probably wouldn't even care, but I think it's the fact that everyone's already so frustrated with all the other crap that's been happening in this game that it just feels like another cherry on top of the cake when the cake already has at least 30 cherries piled on top. Like you're drowning in cherries, right? And all I can say is, I hope that if we do get the mid-chapter patch, if that's the one that comes with the judgment or the one that comes after it, I am just praying for some perk balance changes with some palette density changes. Hopefully, if that doesn't happen around that time, maybe in the 2027, because they basically released a DBD 2 update. They already said they've like recoded everything. They're changing all the graphics, animations, the maps. So with all those changes since they're recoding, I'm still holding out hope that maybe that's when they're choosing the time to make killer like scary again. When we have atmospheric wind and rain and like maybe night and day again. Maybe that's when they'll choose, when it's like feels like a whole new game, to just make killer strong overall, or do some sort of change. Because if they continue with these changes, it's just, and killer's always going to be more stressful to play, right? That's just how it works. It's 1 against 4. But I think I'm okay with that, where it feels like a level of challenge where it's fun, as opposed to in the current game where you load into the match and it already feels like you've lost no matter what happens, Just because of how, today as Bubba, I got 4-outed because I chased one dude for 30 seconds. He dropped at least 8 pallets in those 30 seconds. And at that point, I knew if I left him, gens were going to pop anyways. He was going to get right on the gen. If I stuck him, he was just going to throw the rest of the pallets on the map, and then they'd be out of resources, but they'd be at like half of 1 gen left because of how much just windows and pallets and sprint burst and vigil and lithe and all this ridiculous stuff. And that's what happened. I got 4. I still managed to get, I think it was 1 kill Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I just had to hard tunnel one guy out. But I mean, dudes would drop 30 pallets a match and would not face any repercussions, even against a insta-down killer, because of how much more there is, right? Even if they just reverted pallet density by like 10 or 20%, matches would feel so much better. But it feels bad because when I'm trying to play Trapper, I have to deal with 10 pallets per down. And by that point, every gen is popped because the survivors I'm going up against are hyper efficient. They know all the layouts, they know what to do, and they know when their teammates in chase that they should hop on gens. And then the next match, I go into it sweating as hard as I possibly can, and it's a bunch of survivors that are running casual perks and just aren't very good. So they're getting absolutely smacked up at 5 gens, and they're all DCing and crying in the endgame chat, and they're like, why did you just brutalize us? And it's like, it's because of how the game is balanced that there's just so much extra toxicity and just anger and frustration with every single match. And Behaviour just continues to do absolutely nothing about it, and that's what frustrates me more than anything else, is that they continuously do these nerfs and they don't listen to all of their community. They only listen to one side. They don't address certain changes that they make. They don't mention half the changes that they make. And they've got a community stream today. I probably am not going to watch it because I know it's going to be more of them just patting themselves on the back and probably dropping another killer nerf. Let's be real. It's probably going to be, oh, we had to nerf Jason's teleport, so now he can only stay in it for 10 seconds, because that's what they have been continuously doing for years. And it has been years, right? Some of the changes they did were awesome, absolutely 100% needed. Like seeing teammates perks in solo queue, which, by the way, 60% of players still don't prioritize or use that in a match, and it's really frustrating because it's such an amazing feature to have, and I feel like no one's using it still, and that's the worst part about it. That's why I think you should just use it when loading into the match, like the in-between screen as it's loading. You should be able to see your teammates' perks, so it's literally forcing you to see it. It's like, you cannot ignore this. You cannot ignore I have deliverance. You need to look at it, right? Changes like those, great. Adding base kit borrowed time, great. Being instantly tunneled off of a hook and not being able to do literally jack about it, yeah, that's frustrating. But in this current meta of the game, they just keep pushing more and more and more onto the survivors, like pallets and more endurance in endgame and more endurance in general, and all these perk changes and more windows and pallets and just continuous buffs. And, you know, Killer's gotten a few good killers recently, right? Like, Jason's still decent. Vecna's pretty good. Vecna came with some really good perks. But it's like, it's just the slow, continuous nerf of all the good stuff that the killer has. And the continuous... It's just... I mean, it's making me feel so tribalistic and upset when I play... When I play as a 50-50 player, and I have to go around telling people, like, yeah, this game is disgustingly balanced and catered towards survivors, and everyone goes, well, I know you're a killer, man. It's like, you can look at my stats. I'm pretty sure I play more survivor than killer on average too. I'm probably like 60-40, right? And it gets so old, man. It's especially gotten just old recently, and like I said, I'm just holding out hope that 2027 is going to be better. I don't even know if my PC is going to be able to run the game when they drop those updates, though, to be honest. So yeah, just game feels really bleak. I mean, it feels like Behaviour did everything in their power to ruin their 10-year anniversary, and hopefully the judgment just comes with some big changes, right? I watched a Scott John video where I sat and watched 1 hour of him changing some of the least used perks in the game into actual feasible, balanced, usable perks that would be fun to use and go against. And I'm like, we need people like that, where they just go into Behaviour's office. They're like, okay, we're going to set aside like 3 days for changing all these perks. And then they just do it. Because the amount of stuff that just hasn't really gone changed is insane. But yeah, I don't want this video to come out to 40 minutes long. So I'm going to go ahead and end it now. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. And if you want to hear, let me know your thoughts, actually. Am I overreacting? Have I just been playing like too much DBD? Or is my criticisms and opinions like pretty valid with the current, how the game has been recently? And as always, if you're going to come in here with some, oh, all you killer mains are just crying because you're bad at the game, your comment's going to get deleted because you're not actually having any valid critique or argument. You're just hating because you only play one side of a video game, and you're not smart enough to play both sides like the rest of us do that actually care about the balance of the game. And I hope I see you in the next video. Peace.